This is a rendition of the famous King Solomon's Temple, as outlined and described in the books of 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles of the Holy Bible. Now, for many that study the mystical arts and occult, what secrets does this Old Testament temple hold? And what about the supposed man who built it? Was King Solomon a man, or just a fictional character, part of an allegory that's intertwined with magic? Find out next on this episode of Decode Your Reality. Hello to all and welcome once again. My name is Logan and this is of course Decode Your Reality, and today we're doing one on King Solomon's Temple Decoded Part 2. And if you haven't seen the first one I've done, which is, based upon this temple here, I'd suggest checking that out. I'm going to leave it in the links below, but really I created this one a while back and had great success with the findings of the numbers, and I really stand behind this because, as you notice, this is a 7-tier temple, but I think that this one's more in line with King Herod's temple than it is an actual King Solomon's temple in the Bible. I mean, this is just an artist's rendition, a really good one at that, which you saw in the beginning of this presentation. But, again, I'm going with this here. I was going by the 7 days of the week. You notice Sunday, Monday, Tuesday up till Saturday, and then, of course, the planetary following of those days, giving us, the 7-tier aspect. And then why 3 deep? Because if you look at your phone or your calculator, it's going to have a Saturn's cube in it, actually. But it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, it doesn't really matter how you lay these numbers out, just as long as you get these 21 in here. But this is a rather interesting way to look at reality. I mean, when you break down the elements with all these numbers here, the 1 through 21, and you get the number 477.906. That's what the atomic weights are of this entire temple. And that says a heck of a lot right there. I mean, even if when we decode that 477906, it equals the number 117. And if you've been following any of my work, that's a massive number when it comes to decoding reality. I mean, that thing sticks out like a sore thumb. And is that really tied to this? And you notice the number 11 in the middle. But there's a pyramid within pyramids in here. But anyway, this is the original King Solomon's Temple that I decoded, and I have a feeling it's King Herod's actually, so that could be an error on my part. But either way, there was some really good gold nuggets in there. But I wanted to focus on this one. That's why this is kind of part 2. And this one is following to a T the dimensions that are talked about in the book of 1 Kings chapter 6, and then of course 2 Chronicles chapter 3. And both of these books in the Old Testament describe the aspects of King Solomon's Temple. When he built it, what month he built it, what year he built it, how long it was, the dimensions. Those are really important. And I'm going to show you guys today, bringing in the science behind it, these elements, because I think it's all about alchemy. Any which way you slice it, our world is nothing other than alchemy. It's turning lead into gold. It's using these elements and the atomic weights. You'll notice they all have atomic weights there. That's really what can be measured, and I promise you that the divine is all about accuracy. There is no filler stuff when it comes to the divine. Whoever created this reality, whoever is responsible for it, and I'll give you a hint, it's the Tetragrammaton. But anyway, the creator of this reality created it in a very specific way, and everything is really on a spot measured. So this has a lot of stuff in it. I mean, I'm just start here. I mean, look, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign, in the month Ziph, we can decode that. Is when he started to build it, which is the 2nd month. Now, why the 2nd month? Because when he finished it in the 11th month. And 11 is just a 2. It's just a higher form of it right here, It was the 8th month, which was the 11th year, excuse me. which was in the month of Bull, right? Bull. And then when we decode those, Ziph and Bull, you'll notice Ziph is a 7 and Bull is an 11. 7-11. And I just got done saying how important the 7-11 was in all of this. You know, really, really important in all of this. And there you go. Ziph is a 7, Bull's an 11. That's staring you right in the face. And there it is, you know. Started off in the month of Ziph and ended in the month of Bull. It's right there, black and white. Now, again, who wrote the Bible? Well, that remains to be decided. It's going to come down to an opinion, but that's not what we're here for today. That's for sure. Now, what's most important about this is, you know, the dimensions. And in chapter 6, verses 2, it says, he built it. It was 60 cubits, which is 60. Its width was 20 cubits, and the height was 30 cubits. And I have a feeling the reason why it was 30 cubits high is because of who actually was behind the design. And Jehovah, as you notice here, equals the number 30, reaching up to the heavens. Rather interesting right there. And, you know, 80 plus 30 plus 20, that has some significance as well. 80 times 30 times 20. And we're going to break all this stuff down. Now, I'd highly suggest checking out this video. This is another artist's rendition. Quite awesome. This right here. I think their height to base ratio is a little off with the expression of it, but nonetheless, it's a really good video. A nice CAD drawing of the house that King Solomon's built. Now, the location of it, and this is really interesting as well, is on Mount Moriah in Jerusalem. And, you know, if you haven't followed any of my work, I'm a firm believer that the latitude, longitude, the geographical location, the X marks the spot, has an energy source derived from it and to it. You know, the Great Pyramid of Giza sits at a specific location, chosen on purpose. Well, this is no different. And when you add up these two numbers, it's 31 degrees north and 35 degrees east. That equals the number 66. As in 666. 66 is a powerful number because God in his fullest expression is a 6. The master, God finished his great work on the 6th day. And then a double 6, of course, is compounding that, which should tell you a lot of how much energy or what energy is going to this location. Now, even when you break down, I mentioned the word Jehovah and the number 30. Well, Jerusalem also equals the number 30. Thought that's kind of interesting there. But this is really fascinating, you know, with these numbers here of where it was built. You can actually go and start to break down King Solomon's temple from the Wikipedia. Here's a great rendition of it. You know, the inside, the outside, the surrounding areas. Really, really good right here. You can break it down into meters, which can be broken down into feet. But I wanted to break it down in cubits, considering that's the original measurements that were done, and those have the most power because they have antiquity to them. And then, of course, bringing this into the King Solomon's Temple. It's the Royal Society of Chemistry who pretty much runs the show on telling us what laboratory science tells us, which is all of these elements, 118 of them so far. Each one has a personality or an atomic weight. Notice the numbers here, which is their atomic personalities or weights, and then, of course, their names. And then if they were wearing a jersey, they'd be number 27. That would be on their back. They were playing a sport. It's kind of how I give an analogy of it. So anyways, this is the actual picture taken off that website that I showed you just a second ago. And I highlighted the measurements based upon 1 Kings again. You know, 60 cubits, 20 cubits, 30 cubits. And 60 cubits equals 60, and that's the full length of this temple. 30 cubits high, which is right here, which again, Jehovah, Jerusalem equals the number 30. Maybe that's something to do with the reason why it was 30 cubits high. And then, of course, it was 20 cubits wide, quite skinny, a rectangle in shape. And I can say that, to me, this looks like a casket. A casket. And, you know, when you break down the word casket, two-syllable word, it's a 7-Eleven. It's a 7-Eleven, and I think that this represents our body, and I'm going to get into that as well. But here are your measurements for the entire King Solomon's Temple in 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles. And then you have the most important part of them all, the Holy of Holies, where the cherubim and the Ark of the Covenant was, right here. And, you know, this was 20 cubits by 20 cubits by 20 cubits, giving us a total of 8,000. And I don't have to go in and really kind of posture myself on how important this number 8 is, because it really, you know, it's the infinity sign. I don't need to go into all that stuff. You guys get the picture. 8,000, I mean, 8 and a 000 behind it. The 0, you know, everything just really is the binary system, the 0 and the 1. This is female right here. This is a feminine number, and you got 3 of them, you know, facing that 8. So this is really interesting. The Holy of Holies, 20 by 20 by 20. And this is really where it kind of gets hot and heavy. This is kind of, I laid a guy down on his back. This is the temple laid as if you're looking overhead. Here's the measurements again, 60 by 20 by 30. And, you know, again, this is going up the 33 vertebrae through Jacob's ladder into the Holy of Holies. And, you know, perhaps right in the middle here, the X marks the spot, which could be the pineal gland, the third eye, you know. I know this is not the best rendition of this figure here, but imagine, you know, the neck being here and this possibly being our head, which is our brain, which connects to the divine, which is where the crown's at, and the third eye, which are the two most important elements in the chakra systems, the 6 and the 7. It's kind of interesting when you really look at it this way from that perspective. And you'll notice I have 12 elements here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, I stop at 12 because, again, I'm going in the measurements. There's 6 long, matching the 60. There's 2 wide, matching the 20. And, of course, if you were to kind of really posture this on a 3-dimensional plane, you'd go 30 levels up. But I don't have that capability on this graphic design here. But the most important number here being the 12, because the 12 was the 12 tribes of Judah, matching the 12 zodiac signs, ending that right there. And then, of course, if I were to put the death card here in the tarot, that's the 13th card. That may have some significance as to where it sits in the realm of the tarot system. But the 12 is the 12 times 12 is 144, matching that. You know, the 12 hours of the 12 days, 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness, giving us 24. There's a lot of significance to that, but really it could be X marks the spot. Now, obviously, when I do these measurements with this, you know, going back, we did 20 by 20 by 20, we get 8,000. With this, we go 60 by 20 by 30, and we get 36,000 or 36. And I mean, look at what it links up to in the periodic table and in science. It's Krypton, element 36. And could this be tied to the actual King Solomon's temple? I think so. And, you know, the atomic weight of that is 83.798. I see it as 11.7. I don't know how you see it. I know some of you, oh, if you're going to add up this, you got to add up that. Okay, fine, then let's just keep it at 11 and call it a day. 11 is the number of magic. It's the alternating current. Matter of fact, the words alternating current equals 11. So I already know it's a number of magic and alternating current. It moves energy. And Krypton was none other than the birthplace of Superman. You know, this is a quite of an interesting character. I see a dragon here with the eye. You know, the sine wave. I've already decoded the Last Supper. If you've seen that video, you know, here's this, to what I think this is the sine wave. And there's really some interesting links here. I got a phoenix here for great reason. You know, I mean, his name was Clark Kent, was it not? And again, look at where the 11-7 is. It's embedded in Clark Kent. Clark Kent's 27/9, matching the 9 of Krypton. The word Jesus Christ is a 9. It's a 36, matching that of Krypton. It's a double 9 because Jesus is an 18. Christ is an 18. 99. Very fitting right there. The word phone booth, which I think this could be the phone booth. And that's why Superman goes in it to change to fight crime out of his Clark Kent outfit, his disguise. And phone booth also equals the number 36, matching that of the Christ and Krypton. And 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 again, the last but not least, the rising of the Phoenix. The president is called the Phoenix, by the way. And look at what it adds up to. Phoenix is a 2-syllable word. It too is the 7-11, matching the Clark Kent 11-7. And this is such a magical combination. This is the number of time travel. If you haven't seen my video on Back to the Future Decoded, I highly suggest doing that. The Great Pyramid of Giza has this number embedded into it in its mathematical equations. Is this the phone booth? King Solomon's Temple, is it a phone booth? I'd like to think so. I really do. Is this the embodiment of Jesus Christ? I'd like to think so. Here is the Holy of Holies right here. This entire phone booth, this entire temple is 36. I believe it's Krypton. And, interestingly, which I didn't put in here, if you add up elements 1 through 36, all in their atomic weights, it adds up to the number 666. That's right, 666. And if this temple is built on that, then there you go. There you go. There's your 666. So moving right along, here's the Holy of Holies. Really, where our pineal gland and the crown chakra reside. More importantly, the pineal gland, the third eye, sits right in the middle, perhaps where the Ark of the Covenant would sit in between those two cherubim. But I've, purposely divided these off because when you look at the atomic weights of these elements, these 4 elements, and of course this is a perfect foundation for this to sit on, 10 by 10 by 10 by 10, which is 40. It's really interesting. All-seeing eye equals 40. Freemason equals 40. Kind of interesting there. But these atomic weights, when added up, they come up to the number 86.473. Now, I'm just going to leave it at 86 because I think this is the standout here. And that links to the element radon because radon's the 86th element. And the biggest standout of this, well, there's several, but the biggest standout is the weight of radon. It's 222. Now, 2 on its own is, of course, the lower form of 11, but it's directly connected, which is a very magnetic and magical number. And it represents the high priestess. It represents duality in its perfection. It's a very big standout. And then the master number 22, that's just a higher form of the 11, but a triple 2, that says a lot. And keep in mind, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals the number 6, and the number 6 is the personification of the divine in its form here on earth. God finished his great work on the 6th day. And if you notice it from a perspective of a symbol, this is an upside down 9. That's why the tetragrammaton is the number 96. It's the as above, so below. 6 is the lover's card in the tarot. That says a ton when it comes to that number. 6. So this is embedded in the 222. Now moving along as well, here we do breaking down radon. This is kind of really setting itself and cementing itself in how we perceive this reality when we take a further look. When we break down the 222, we have 3 heliums. Each one has an atomic weight of 4.003. That gives us an expression of 12.009. Let's just say 12.009 with its mirror. I believe everything is mirrored in our reality. It has something connected on the flip side, like another reality or dimension. Thanks again to John Petrie for showing me this little technique. But 12.009, adding it to its mirror, 900.21. Look at what it comes out to, 912.219. And then we break that down again. It gives us a 12.12. And then, of course, it ends in the illustrious 3.3 or 33. And this is a really interesting number to have that's really connected to the Holy of Holies. Because 3 is the creative mind. It's where we express our creativity. Without the 3, we're not going to be thinking. This is our brain. This is how we end up expressing through the manifestations of our throat chakra. Because in order for us to speak, we need to think. And that's what the level 3 is all about. Of course, 3 is the Empress card, and that is God in its lowest form with the creative mind. Again, connected with the 369, and we're going to get into that. Now, I say I am Ra because Ra is the sun god, and is this really the attachment to the Holy of Holies? Is this Ra? Radon, again, 22286, but look at what it breaks down to in numerology. Radon or Radon, it's a 3, which matches up with that Empress card. Again, 33. That's why the Masons love the 33. That's why anybody that studies the occult that knows how important the 33 is, follows it, studies it, focuses on it, allows it to come in, because it will expand your creative thoughts. Well, Radon is a 3-7 or 3-16, and this is a very fitting description of Radon. If this was a deity, I mean, look at how it would express itself. It would not only match up, it would have the power of Saturn. Saturn's a 21, but it's a 3. It's the Empress, the creative mind. It's Mother Creative. Matching up with the Tower card, this is a masculine card, obviously a penis, a phallus, the Tower card, and this is birth. This is the first step, the beginning stages of birth. So it's really, I think this is very fitting, and it gives all its energy, these two characteristics, to the one and only Sun card, the 19th card in the Tarot. And I mean, Ra's the sun. I mean, how fitting is this here? I mean, you couldn't have really picked it any better if you had to choose your own narrative. I'm just showing you levels of expression of how this works through kind of my own methods. But I think you guys can see really what this card means. You know, Ra's 86, and, you know, if we go even further, radium is the 88th element. And, you know, that says a lot as well. We could totally do a different video on that. But again, I think this is how the divine expresses itself through the 369. We all know how Tesla said how important this was, and I know, yeah, the 12 is important as well, which is just a repeat of the 3. But again, the 12 is important because it's the last number in the King Solomon's Temple, in the Holy of Holies. So that's why the 12 would sit at the top here. But this is, you know, 96, the number of the Tetragrammaton, and then, of course, giving its energy, using the creative aspects of the Empress to express itself. And we do that through our own creative mind. That's what the 3 is. It's the creative mind. It's the offspring of thought. It's about expansion. Expansion. We expand in our minds. The number 6, the Lover's card. You see the male and female with the divine behind, a great big sun. And it's the union of love. It's the mastery of expressions, and it's Master Earth. That would be the 6. Anybody that has a 6th birthday, whether that's a 6, a 5th, born on the 15th, the 24th, I already know that you're a person that really probably wants to have a family. Doesn't, if not already has a family. Is all about the kids and union of love. That's your expression because you're a 6, and it's very fitting with the Tetragrammaton. And then, of course, let's not leave out the number 9, the Hermit card, the wise, the sage, okay, the old man on the mountain. This is the wealth of power. It contains the numbers 1 through 8. So it has the embodiment of all the numbers. It's the beacon of light, and it's the master spirit. You know, Jesus equals the 9. It's an 18, but it equals the 9. Very fitting number for Jesus to sit in right here. And again, Jesus Christ is a 99 if we use that, if you wanted to go that far. But I thought that was really, really interesting. Those are your numbers, in my opinion, of the Tetragrammaton, the 9, 6, and then, of course, the 3. Primarily the 9 and the 6. I've gone over that quite extensively as well. So what do you guys think? I mean, Ra, you know, the Sun card, the 222, the Holy of Holies, is a 33 when we break it down. I mean, it's a 12 right here. And, you know, matching that of the Holy of Holies right there, the last number is the 12. It's the 86, matching that of Radon. I mean, I think it's very apparent where this is kind of leading us in our testament to decoding this reality. I mean, look at these 36s, the 11 7s, Krypton. This is the reason why the House of Superman was from Krypton, because I'm telling you, the King Solomon's Temple equals the number 36, its entire formation of it. And that's really what we're looking at right here. The entire King Solomon's Temple. Here's your 666, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the planet Krypton right here. You're seeing it possibly for the first time. You know, following up here, I mean, some other standouts, the two pillars in the High Priestess card, the two pillars that you see on each side of the temple entering in right here. Jachin and Boaz, look at what they equal, the number 33, kind of interesting there. You know, Oracle is mentioned in the First King's Testament here as well, and Oracle just so happens to be a 21, which is matching up to that of Saturn, which is a 3, which matches up to the Empress. Again, creative mind. And I think that's what this is. This may not be an actual temple that they built. It could be, you know, as above, so below. This could be the physical manifestation of the as above to match that up of the so below. You know, it's interesting. You got 5 of these here, and each one has 7 leaves. That's 5 times 7 is 35. Pi is 3.14 or 3.5. That could be some significance there as well. Of course, this is all lined in gold. You know, this metal basin here has all 12 zodiac signs, 3, 3, 3, and 3, giving you 12. There's some significance there. The bronze altar was 15 feet by 30 feet. There's that 30 again, which is very significant in this. These were 30 feet tall as well. And again, this was 30 feet tall, and I think that's the reason why Jehovah has a part of this, because I believe Jehovah's the Tetragrammaton. Unless something earth-shattering changes that, I don't think that there's any debate about it when you really start to study this stuff. So that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. Thanks for watching. This is Decode Your Reality. Till next time.